What's up, guys? So I haven't recorded. I meant to record a few days ago, but I keep putting it off because I don't want to get burned out. I want to make videos at my own pace when I feel ready to make them. So I'm not gonna, force myself to upload it every day or every week or just whenever I feel like it. I got a few things I'd like to talk about. I guess it's kind of like a rambling session. We'll start off with Marvel Rivals. Again, I talked about this last week. Marvel Rivals just released their trailer for The Human Torch and The Thing, and I've got to say, fantastic looking, man. It is fantastic. But here's the thing. Yeah, that was the joke. I got my sense out of that joke. They look really good. I have found like my main for both Duelist and for Strategist, but I haven't really found one that I connect with Vanguard. I really like Thor and I really like Magneto, but they haven't really clicked in a way that I think I want them to. But the Thing looks fantastic. He looks like my kind of tank, that big boxer. He's got the protection. He can rush in. He looks really, really cool, and I imagine he's going to be my new Vanguard main. And Human Torch doesn't look like I would play him that much, but he still looks fun, and he has a lot of aura. Really cool. But then again, I thought I wouldn't really play Mr. Fantastic, and I'm really enjoying him. So, who knows? I suppose I'll enjoy either one. There was a teaser for Blade. That's pretty cool. Honestly, I kind of would have expected Blade to come earlier because of the whole vampire theme this season, but hey, he's coming. I heard rumors that the next season will have Blade and Ultron, which was really cool. I like Blade and I love Ultron, so that'd be fun. Some other things. The kind of another big thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought about making its own video, which I'll probably brand as this video and then talk about it for the most part, is Mortal Kombat 1. I have done a lot of thinking personally about Mortal Kombat, the series, and just my disappointment with it. And it's not an uncommon belief. A lot of people believe this, and at first I thought it was kind of overblown and overhated, but the more that I think about it, the more that I force myself to play it, the more I agree, and it's really saddening to me. Mortal Kombat was one of the first series that I can remember not being into, but hearing things about it and purposefully going out of my way to get into it. Most of the games that I played at that time I had already had knowledge of from when I was younger, and Mortal Kombat was the first one that I truly sought out because the concept sounded cool. The first game that I picked up in the series was 11. I picked it up right after the Aftermath collection came out with Fujin, Shiva, and RoboCop. I picked that up. Loved the heck out of it. I thought that 11's story was great. I loved the gameplay. The characters are really, really cool. I know 11 was kind of divisive when it came out, but I loved it. Thought it was great. It was my first real fighting game aside from Smash Brothers, so I really enjoyed it, every minute of it. I loved the DLC for it when the second batch came out, or Fighter Pack 2 that had who did it have? It had Melina, Rain, and Rambo. Loved those characters; those were great. Excuse me. And I loved it. I thought it was great. And not too long later, I picked up Mortal Kombat X because it was on sale for $5. Loved that game. I thought it was good, and I enjoy the gameplay of X a lot more than 11. That's not an uncommon opinion. Most people believe that, and I had a lot of fun with it, tons of fun. And then, so I was fully invested in the series, and this was before the 1 was even announced. I'm going to cut my heater off, give me 1 second. Anyway, so I Loved the series. I thought it was a great series. Was fully following the leaks. I had read up on the lore and the characters that weren't in X and 11, just so I would know if they brought back any cool characters to 1. And when they finally announced Mortal Kombat 12, which was Mortal Kombat 1, I was ecstatic. I thought it was great. One of my most hyped games of the year. And the more you wait, character trailers come out, it's great, super excited, and the game comes out, and I got the collector's edition, not the collector's edition, the premium, whichever one came with the Combat Pack 1 and the week early access, but not the statue. I got that, because the Combat Pack, this is my personal main disappointment with the game, is that the Combat Pack 1 had my 3 most requested guest characters, and I'm not even kidding. Peacemaker, I love Peacemaker. I thought the show was great. Omni-Man, I love Invincible, and Omni-Man was one of the guest characters I wanted. And Homelander was my number 1 character that I wanted. If there was any character ever, Mortal Kombat or guest character that came in, I wanted Homelander. And Homelander getting added to Mortal Kombat was a dream come true. It was phenomenal. And then, as characters come out, invasions happens, you play the game, the more I realize there's nothing to do. And that's the most upsetting part about Mortal Kombat 1 to me, and the main crux of my disappointment is just there's nothing to do. I'm not a big online player for fighting games, at least. I don't really feel like, hopping on, playing online matches for any game, really, especially fighting games, because there's not really much to gain outside of just a self-satisfaction, and sometimes that is great, but that's just not something I really care about. When I play fighting games, I love the characters and the lore and the story, and the coolness factor, not so much the idea of being good to beat other people. So I went into this game not super online heavy, but I also went into Mortal Kombat X and 11 not online heavy, and while 11 was good enough, while X was good enough in the gameplay wise to keep me hooked for $5, 11 had a whole bunch of things, and it came to like the towers and the unlocking customizations and character challenges, and that was what kept me hooked with 11. Mortal Kombat 1, I loved the gameplay. Asterisks, we'll get to that. But there's not much to do. You unlock, just very generic customizations, barely, not really. You only get one customization thing. And at first I thought that would be a good thing, but the more I kind of miss the 3 customization options, even if you never really saw like one of Sub-Zero's in 11 was his little knives on his side, and you'd never see that. You would actually have to zoom in to notice. But it was just something cool to get, and even if it didn't really do anything, so in Mortal Kombat 1, when you're changing your entire skin to these ass ugly skins, because I'll be honest, none of them really look that good. You don't really get to change anything but the mask or the weapon, and like Katana, you can change her katana, or her fans, but then that means you don't really get to change her mask at all. Melina, you can change her size, but you don't really get any cool masks with Melina. Rain could have some really cool masks, or Reptile could have some really cool masks, and it's kind of disappointing that you really only get to change one. And the skins themselves aren't that good either. You have the Order of Darkness and the Union of Light, or whichever one they're called, and those are cool. And then you have some stray stragglers that are cool, like Liu Kang's got his trench coat, or Johnny Cage has got his the Indiana Jones style. Havoc has got that Indiana Jones villain movie one, and those are cool. But then like everything else is just kind of like based around the invasions. And you have the fire skins and the ice skins and the zombie skins and the blood skins, and those are cool, I guess. But a lot of them I don't think look good. Like and I that's kind of like I thought most all the Mortal Kombat 11 skins looked good, even if I didn't jive with all of them or I wouldn't use a lot of them. I thought they were good. In one, I don't really like a lot of them. I think they look it's kind of bad, and that's kind of surprising because the rest of the game looks fantastic. I think all the characters look cool, all of the designs of the game are amazing, but just some of the costumes and color choices I don't really like, which is new for me. Another big complaint with the customization is the customization when it comes to the DLC characters. Only having the one skin 6 colors for each DLC character is criminal, and I imagine they'll add more later on, probably as downloadable content, but not only like they had so much potential, you know. Omni-Man, especially when I think of Omni-Man, I'm thinking he could have his original Omni-Man design, he could have his Viltrumite design, he could have the design when he's with the Thraxans, he could have his prison uniform. There's so many ideas that they could have gone with, but you just get the one. And some of the color choices are cool. You have colors based on Adam Eve or based on Invincible, and that's cool, but you just get the one, and that's really disappointing. Now, Homelander, he's got some really cool colors, but you just get the one Homelander skin, and they could have really done a lot with Homelander. They really could have made him something special. And like even characters like Quan Chi or Ermac or Takeda, they were the other DLC characters. They could have easily had some new skins because they're Mortal Kombat characters, but they still just got the one, and that's really disappointing. Let's see the new characters that are coming out. I bought Sectorus and Cyrax and Ghostface, Noob Saibot. Really liked Ghostface. He was really fun to play. Wasn't actually that interested in the Cyrax sector and Noob Saibot. I love the characters. I think they look really cool, and I like the direction they were going with it. I know a lot of people weren't big fans of making the robots girls, but I liked it. I thought it was good, but I just didn't really vibe with them gameplay wise. But I loved Ghostface. Ghostface was really cool, and the other two characters, Conan the Barbarian and the T-1000. T-1000 I'm really excited for. Terminator 2 was one of my favorite movies ever. I think it's great. Super excited for that. But Conan the Barbarian, I wasn't super excited for. I thought it looked really cool, and I was excited to get like a big brute character, and he looks fun, and I'll probably pick him up when he goes on sale. But realistically, honestly, probably not though, because again, there's not much to do in this game, which I'd like to circle back to now actually. There's nothing to do in this game. I beat the story. I really enjoyed the story. Well, I know a lot of people didn't, but I enjoyed it. I think that X and 11 had better stories, but I enjoyed one. I'm not a multiverse hater. But then Chaos Reigns came out, and I'll tell you, sports fans, I did not like it. I didn't. I remember the credits rolled for Chaos Reigns when Scorpion and Cyrax were talking, and the credits rolled, and I was just sitting there thinking, that's it? That's it? Was it like $50 for that? And then it kind of dawned on me, like, I can't just buy the characters separately. I have to buy them in this $50 bundle to justify it. And eventually they did start dropping the characters individually, and that's how I got the characters. I did not buy the story. But at the beginning, if you wanted to play Noob Saibot, Sector, and Cyrax, you had to buy the story. And I heard that it was garbage, so I just kind of watched it on YouTube. I was only going to watch an hour or two to see if it was good, and then I would buy it myself. But I just kind of got distracted a little bit, and then it was over. and so I rewatched it to like fully understand what happened, and it was just not very interesting at all. Nothing really happened. It was really just focused around like 4 characters, and they could have done that better too, because Aftermath really only focused on was it Shang Tsung, Fujin, and Nightwolf, and I really liked Aftermath. I thought Aftermath was really good. But I don't know, Chaos Reigns was just really disappointing. And there's the rumor that they're going to stop the DLC because it's performing so poorly, and knowing Warner Brothers Studios, they're probably going to take this as a sign that Mortal Kombat's dead and cancel the games forever. But I hope that they learn from this and actually understand why people are upset. Because I finished the story, and once I finished the story, what nuts to do. I fully 100% did the invasions for Season 1. I think it was the fire one. It might have been the ice one. I think it was fire, though. And then, like, it was a slog. It was really fun for the first, few hours, doing these fights. But then I realized I just don't give a shit. I don't care. There were no interactions. There were no... You just went into the fight, did a round, and then you won, and then it was over. And the boss fights sucked. I think they fixed them a little bit, but those bosses were they took no knockback and could just randomly 3-hit you. I hated those. It's so awful. All for just skins that you probably don't care about. There's nothing to do. It was just so disappointing. And that's really the main point. I'm kind of talking in circles, but it was downright tragic, and it sucks because my dream of seeing Omni-Man and Homelander in a Mortal Kombat game feels kind of wasted. And another thing is there's just not a lot of cool factor in this game. And when I say that, I think of the best part, my personal favorite part of Mortal Kombat 11 was the character intros and the character outros, because those highlighted who the characters were, and the intro dialogue, the three line intro dialogue. Those 3 things really showed how cool the characters were. It showed their their gameplay style. It showed their motivations. It showed you had characters you see Shao Kahn walking in, kicking aside lackeys and crushing skulls before he even says a word. He means business. Sub-Zero, he's all ice-based, but he's methodical. You can tell he's a professional. In Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat 1, they only get 2. They have their little clash for their intro, which is only 2 lines, which I think really, really limits the enjoyment of it. And then they have 2 animations, one for when they are the attacker and one for when they're defender, and they're still cool, but they don't really highlight who they are. The attacker always just kind of gives a punch and then a little finger wag, and then the defender he blocks it and then gets back up, shakes his head, and then gets in the stance, and it's fine. But they could go with any martial artist character. Most of them really aren't strictly based around Kung Lao, and that's disappointing. So yeah, and I guess to wrap things up with the gameplay side of it, I don't like the cameos. I'll say it. I do like team-based fighting games. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is one of my favorite fighting games. Love some team-based games. Dragon Ball FighterZ is really fun, but I don't like the cameos in this game. They're super slow, and it feels like when you don't have a cameo, you don't have a full character. In Marvel, when I played Marvel vs. Capcom 3 a lot, you could feasibly win a fight without ever touching a cameo. And that was fun, because then when you used the backup character in Capcom 3, you felt good. In Mortal Kombat 1, you don't need to use it, or you need to use it, because if you don't use it, you're at a severe disadvantage, because it feels like the characters are incomplete. I mean, for crying out loud, characters don't even have a forward throw. All forward throws are delegated to cameos, which is, again, it takes away the cool factor of the characters, because each character doesn't feel like their own individual character. It feels like they're, reliant. Shang Tsung doesn't need to rely on, Janet Cage to rush in and get a few whops in. He can do it himself. And it would be a lot easier to swallow if these characters felt like they could do things on their own. The victory screens are, they have the cameo. The intros have the cameo. It's like, it takes away from the coolness factor of each character, I think. And it makes the gameplay feel slower. A lot of times the gameplay feels a lot more boring than 11 did, even, because the cameos, they take a long time to come out, and they don't really do a whole lot that is interesting to watch or to do, in my opinion. And I know that might be a hot take, and it is a skill issue. But I don't know. Most of the disappointments aren't even from the gameplay side. It's all of just the lack of things to do and the lack of, honestly, charm the game has. And it's a very big disappointment, and I hope that this game, I would say, gets better, but it's not going to get better. It's just going to be the way it is, and then hopefully the next one is better. So here's hoping to Injustice 3 being good, and I hope they add Butcher and Invincible to Injustice 3. So that's my thoughts on the state of Mortal Kombat 1, and then my opening thoughts on the Human Torch and the Thing. Let's go